Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review. I'm here today to talk to you about Dino Fury Season 1, Episode 14. At least I think it's in Season 1. I don't know. I kind of stopped watching Dino Fury a couple of eps back. I think I probably stopped around ep 8, 9, or maybe 10, something like that. It wasn't nothing like really bad that caused me to stop it. I just kind of like just lost interest, kind of. Like I haven't really been into none of these Nickelodeon Hasbro, God, what's his name? Neo Saban era. Like, I just haven't really been digging them, you know? Like, I'm a huge Fox Kids Disney era Power Rangers fan. And so, like, I don't know, like, Dino Fury is just like okay. It's kind of bland a little bit, you know. I just haven't really lost interest, but I decided it to like when I saw on YouTube, like the Lord Z episode came out. I'm like, oh wait, wow, I'm gonna check it out, even though it technically isn't out yet, you know, and stuff. But whatever and stuff. But yeah, my fears have come to reality. Like, this was just another pointless nostalgia episode with little to no substance, little to no real explanation or logic. It was just there to like tug on the nostalgia strings, and that's basically all this episode was. And it's a Halloween episode, and here's the thing about Power Rangers Halloween: I don't like them. Period. Like, but to tell you the truth, actually, I do. I like the Fox Kids Halloween episode that was in Mighty Morphin. That's it. Mighty Morphin had the best Halloween episodes. Since Mighty Morphin, I haven't liked them. They might have had one in Z-Up. I don't remember. Been a good while since I watched Z-Up. Been a couple of years. Not too far back, but like at least maybe 5, 6, something like that. But I remember they had a Halloween episode in Operation Overdrive, which really wasn't even much of a Halloween episode. They just went to a Halloween party, and that's how we kind of got that foreshadowing that dude, what's his name, the Red Ranger. It's been a while. I completely Matt, I think it was Max or something like that. Found out that he's an android and stuff. We have some foreshadowing. That's about it. But like, yeah. So the two Mighty Morphin like Halloween episodes is so awesome, man. Like, what happened to the writing staff, dude? I mean, like, seriously, man. It's just not good no more. And so this is a Halloween episode where they're talking about like Halloween's coming up and what they're all afraid of, and Izzy's afraid of zombies and stuff like that, and so it cuts from like that to like the bad guy's lair, and we see somebody in a hood, like a black hoodie cloak type thing, and we know it's Lord Zed. Like, come on, it's him, especially that body build and the pointy like head and stuff. But he's messing around with the computer system. And then Void Knight and Mucus, that's her name, comes in and like, so, they're like, who are you? And then he like takes off the cloak and they're like, oh my God, it's Lord Zed and everything. The Emperor of Evil, which I don't ever remember him being called that, but hey, whatever. You know what I'm saying? The dude was pretty evil and stuff. And they were all like, yo, how are you alive? Aren't you supposed to be like dead or something like that? So here comes like a monster talking about, and then Zed calls the monster dude like master, and it's like, whoa, what's going on here? And so like, so monster dude resurrected him from like to dead, and talking about how he has an obedience collar and stuff, and how he's gonna destroy the Power Rangers and whatnot. And so I'm thinking to myself logically, how did he resurrect Lord Zed? Because Lord Zed is technically still alive in his humanoid form at the end of In Space. Only the evil spell part of him was like destroyed. And the evil spell thing is basically like the same evil spell thing that was on Astronema or Corona, if you whatever you want to call it. So it's kind of like the spirit essence of evil that was in Lord Zed died, but that's about it. So I don't understand how he can resurrect that. But hey, I digress. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he resurrected the evil spirit of it or something like that. I don't know. still to myself, I'm thinking it doesn't explain how his scepter staff is still around from Beast Morphers, but hey, I digress, you know. The writers is like, they ain't gonna remember this is a kid's show. But kids not watching this. Adults are. So, like, you know, it goes from that and something happens. The Rangers are like, I think they're done decorating and they're walking in the woods for some reason. And so I totally forgot what happened. I feel so it's weird. I can remember things that happened 20 years ago, but just recently, just a couple of hours ago, I forgot. But then again, I've been watching a whole lot of different TV shows. I'm trying to review things as much as possible as I can. Because when Halloween or October comes up, I only want to review like horror type stuff. That and my Amazon Prime is like expiring soon. I really don't feel like renewing it. So I'm trying to hurry watch as much as I can in 1 week. Because I haven't been watching much of nothing on it and stuff. So that's why some of my reviews look a little bit different with just like one picture that's like the main title thumbnail and that's it. And I can't really remember too much because I'm having so much information in my head. I'm having like information overload. And so, like, you know, and then I don't know if I want to keep my, what's it called, HBO Max, because I'm just not digging none of the stuff that's really on there. Some of the stuff I am, and I might keep it. But I hate how it's $11.99 a month. That's just ridiculous. Anyway, back to Power Rangers. So, the Blue Ranger, Ollie, he breaks off from the group. I forget why. And then Lord Zed comes in with, I think, like some monsters. And then, so the Rangers, they morph, but they're easily taken down. No, was it Lord Zed they saw? Maybe it was another monster they saw. But anyway, Lord Zed shows up, and he throws what looks like throwing stars, but it turns into, like, handcuffs and stuff. And it puts them to sleep. So they're out for the count. And so, you know, the Blue Ranger, he's walking around, and he sees like they put like that's right, they were doing like a haunted trail in the woods, and then they put up the signs and stuff. And I remember, and then he walked off, and he's all like, "Oh, this is lame. Oh, look, a fake skeleton out of the tree, and it's plastic, and it has the like you know, the price tag on it." I will say this about Dino Fury. When I first started watching it, I was not digging nobody's acting on that show. Especially the blue and like the pink ranger. Or even the red ranger too. But then after like maybe 2-3 episodes, they really started to come into their own and like fill their role, you know what I'm saying? And the acting now has gotten so much better than what like the first episode. So I'm very impressed. And so, what was it? Something happened. He meets somebody. It might have been Lord. I feel bad. Like this is like the strangest review I've ever done. I'm forgetting crap. I'm normally a whole lot better than this. Plus, my head is spinning from like the pain and the mattress, the gas coming up, and like, whew, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, so he sees the monster, he morphs and everything, and he's getting his butt kicked, and then he asks for help from the giant lizard person. I'm trying to remember her name. Soren. So she comes in and she gives him something that he needs. And then he's fighting, but he just can't win. And so they teleport back to their little headquarters. And she fills him in on like who this new big bad person is and stuff, because he's not really too sure. And the coolest thing happened. They had like a flashback, an archive session of who Lord Zed is in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So she wanted to show him, because he's all like, oh, you know, I can handle this dude. And she's like, no, you can't. He's too evil and all that. And so like she shows him this archive thing of like old footage from like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers season 1 and 2. No, not season 1, but season 2 and season 3. And it's just like so cool, man. It was so fun to see that again. Like it really brought me back when I saw those old clips. And I saw like, oh, they go Billy and Adam in like the classroom and they getting like shrunk down to little kids and there's little Aisha and stuff. And man, that really brought me back. Let me tell you. And because I haven't been happy with Power Rangers in a couple of years, and so probably a decade at the most. And so like it was just so nice to see that. Because I mean, I have the DVDs and stuff, but I just never watched them because I've been busy like streaming and stuff. And so like they show like the old clips of Lord Zed and how bad he is and everything. And then they showed that he was defeated by like Zordon's energy wave. And so they realized they can't replicate nothing like that. But then they showed a clip of Andros like killing Zordon. Now I will say this was kind of interesting. I was not expecting this. Now, okay, I knew that this Lord Zed would have a different voice. He voiced by Andrew Lang. He's the same voice as Vengex and stuff like that, and a couple of other like baddies from Power Rangers. And his voice, for the most part, isn't that bad. Like his voice sounds pretty nice as Lord Zed. I give him that. Also, the suit of Lord Zed, it looks better in action. I'll say that. I'm not 100% sold on it because it's still some strange like parts, like the metal parts. But for the most part, the suit looks really nice until they show the archive footage of the real Lord Zed, and that's so much better looking and stuff. He's like sleeker, his arms are flaring up as he's doing his Lord Zed like mannerisms and stuff. And so then it makes you now wonder. They show archive footage of the old Lord Zed, and we now see the new Lord Zed. There is no explanation whatsoever as to why he looks different. Like you'd think they would like just have like a little throwaway line, but no, nothing at all. And it's just like, where's the logic in this? Also, back to my original point I was making if I went off topic, the voices. Andrew Lane does a really good job doing it. He's making it his own. I was shocked that they redubbed some of the voices from the Power Rangers in the past. Like, I knew they had to do with Lord Zed because the original actor had died, but I wasn't expecting them to redub like other people and stuff. I will say this. The new voice they got for Alpha 5 sounds a whole lot closer to the original one than the one that we heard in Operation Overdrive. The one in Operation Overdrive got on my nerves. His voice was just dreadful to my ears. But then they started redubbing some of the Power Ranger voices. Andros, I don't know who they got to dub him, but he sounds like a little girl. Now the voice they got for Zordon, that sounded really close to the original Zordon voice because there was two different voice actors for Zordon and stuff, and it sounded really close to the main one that sadly passed away and stuff. And so after that, they said they realized they can't duplicate the like Z-Wave and nothing like that. But then he notices something strange on Zed, and it was a collar, the obedience collar. So he put up footage from Beast Morphers and when that dude used that. And that sound wave is able, I think, to disrupt it. I think. No, wait. I'm forgetting something. Oh, okay. Now I remember why Soren came in. He needed some kind of like doggy treat thing for this, like, cause the monster dude that resurrected Zed resurrected somebody else, and in order to get rid of him, you have to use like a doggy treat thing to mess up his voice, sound waves and stuff. So that's why she came in, and that's how she knew who Zed was and stuff. And so now here we go. I forget how they disrupted the little collar thing. But here's one thing I've been wondering. How does everybody know who Lord Zed is? Like, I don't get that. The dude was way before their time. Even the bad guys, he was way before their time. So it's just kind of strange that everybody knows exactly who he is. I guess his legend precedes him or something like that. And so he ends up freeing the other Rangers, and they fight and they break his collar, and then so Zed, so they decide to help the bag people out to get rid of Zed because Zed's so powerful and stuff. And so then, they all fight, but then Zed just like runs off. And next thing you know, the bad guys turn on them. They turn really big, and then we get some Zord action. And I have to say, ever since Dino Charge, I don't know how I feel about all these different reconfiguration variants of Zords. Cause it's like they don't even use the full team. They only use like sometimes 2 or 3 different Zord to build a Megazord, and it has all these different like shapes and reconfigurations. I just don't know how I feel about that. Maybe I'm just so old school that I'm used to seeing the whole team Zords go together and make a Megazord, and that's that actual Megazord. Cause when you have all these variants, then it's kind of like if you collect the toy, you're gonna want every variant, or you're gonna want to combine every variant every other month when you display it in your room. And I just don't know how I feel about that. And so, and I will say this: ever since I am glad they went away from the CGI Zords. That's one thing I've always hated to death. Ever since they started that crap, and they really overdid it in the Disney era with the CGI Zords, most of the animals and stuff. I love more of a practical, like toy type Zord or something like that. Now these Zords, they're not CGI, thank God. But they have a weird look. They are so bulky and plastic. They look like Lego figures. And it just looks like super plastic. And it makes me look like I'm looking at a giant toy that has come to life. Now, I will say this, back in the old days when they used to make Zords and put the suits actually look mechanical and everything. They actually look like they were made of metal. They were sure they were rubber and some plastic, but they look more realistic than what they do now. Now, this isn't the Power Ranger problem. This is actually the Sentai problem because, they're the ones who make all this stuff and then, and stuff like that. And so it just looks super toyish and stuff. And so, they defeat the monster, of course. And then, they talk a little more at the Halloween party, and Izzy gets scared of her brother in a zombie outfit. And he's not even like a scary looking zombie. I'm just like, man, come on, man. Remember, adults are watching this, not little kids and stuff. And so that's basically just the episode. And I'm just like, that's it. So Zed just like runs off and they don't go after him or defeat him, or no past Rangers come in or like nothing like that. And in the next episode, which I have not watched, it's on YouTube as well. I think it's in Spanish, so I just didn't even bother because I don't speak Spanish no more. And so that's when the Gold Ranger comes in, and I don't see no Lord Zed nowhere, so I guess they're gonna prolong it to a couple of episodes and bring them back, and they might do some type of team up with past Rangers, who knows? But it's just, this episode was just pointless, man. They were just like, hey, let's bring in somebody from the past to make the adults happy, and let's bring in the villain this time. So they brought in Lord Zed, and there was nothing to it. They didn't explain how they resurrected him. They didn't explain if the real Lord Zed is still alive. How is this one here? They didn't explain why he looks different, or why now they explain why he sounds different because they got a different voice actor and stuff. But then they just let him run off and leave. And but I will say this Lord Zed's attitude, it's pretty cool. He's similar to the old one, insulting people, wanting to destroy people, this and that. The dialogue was cool in this episode, except for Ollie. We're talking about, oh, now I really do want some fish sticks. I'm like, shut up. That's so corny and everything. But it's there was no real relevance to this episode other than just making older fans happy. But I'm not happy at all because this was just a stupid, pointless episode with no substance or no logic behind it. Now, I'm not a little kid who's going to be like, ugh, I'll buy that. I'm a fanboy, you know what I'm saying? Well, how he come back alive? I don't know, and I don't care because I'm just a fanboy. I'm not like that. I need some logic to something, And so it's just don't this ain't gonna go over my head, man. Now I will say this, in terms of footage, I love how they use both the Sentai and the actual, well, can you even really call it American footage now? Because they film in New Zealand, but it's an American show. So technically, I don't know. But I did like how like the Blue Ranger fight scene was actually filmed, um, new footage and stuff. And then you can see parts where they went to Sentai when he was like standing up and doing this and that. And the Zord stuff was like Sentai, you know, and stuff. But it's just kind of like they need to make a conclusion to this episode, and they need to make it suspenseful. They need to make it good, because if it was just what it is now, then it's just like I might seriously just be done with Power Rangers, man. Like, I'm just kind of like, I don't even really watch it no more, and I love Power Rangers. I remember back when I was in my 20s and I was in college, and I thought somebody said something about Power Rangers. I'm like, what? I love Power Rangers. And everybody just looked at me like I was weird. Like, why is this grown man talking about Power Rangers? One, I don't care. I like Power Rangers, and I will talk about it. Just like I like Star Trek, I'll talk about that. And so, like, you know, and so it's just like, I don't care. I could be like an old 80, 90, 100 something year old man. I'm still going to be like a diehard Power Ranger fan and still talk about it. But I'm getting to the point where I'm getting tired of it, because it's just not fun no more, man. It's just really not. Like, I do appreciate Nickelodeon. Well, when they did used to, you know, have it on their channel. Like, I appreciate them having it for fans to watch. I appreciate Hasbro buying it from Saban, because Saban went nuts in the head when he took it back over and stuff. And so I appreciate Hasbro keeping it alive, especially with the toy line and stuff. And yeah, even though Saban is whacked out right now, I do appreciate him buying it back from Disney, because Disney tried their best to bury Power Rangers and stuff. And when they got tired of Power Rangers, they literally tried to like get rid of it and stuff. And so I appreciate it. And I also appreciate them from buying it from him when, you know, it had got canceled and stuff. And I appreciate New Zealand from having, like, you know, it filmed over there. Which I don't know why they're going to do it now, because of the strict COVID rules, but who knows. But it's just like, stop messing with my franchise, man. This is like, ooh, I'm part of the fandom. I want to be happy. But I can't be happy if it's dumb, if it's pointless, if there's nothing like this, there was no substance behind it. It was just like they stuck their hand in a box with all these like names of past Power Ranger people, and they pulled out Laura Zed, like, all right, let's do an episode about him. Well, how are we gonna bring him back? Just to say he came back, somebody resurrected him. We don't need to see how it happened. And it's just, that's basically what it was. And it's just like, it's pointless, man. It's pointless. Alrighty, well, I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.